Hi, welcome to this Friday's financial video. This week, I want to continue our series on building financial freedom. Whether you're approaching retirement, still in your career, or in retirement, here's something that I feel is very important. And please promise you won't stop listening as soon as I say that thing is an emergency fund. Now, there are many people that go through their entire careers without having an emergency fund. And often when we get into retirement, we think it's not really needed. It was fine. It was a good idea when I was working to have that extra reserve of cash so that if I got sick or got laid off, I'd have something saved up to get me through. But it's important to have a retirement fund that includes an emergency fund. Why? Well, because life doesn't know you've retired. Yes, you've got steady amounts of pension coming in, government pensions, work pensions, investments that you're drawing down, but unexpected expenses still come up. What if your car breaks down? What if your roof starts leaking? What if you get hit with an unexpected medical bill or a dental bill that you don't have enough cash to pay for? Even a small emergency can have big consequences if you're not prepared. And that's exactly what an emergency fund gives you. It gives you peace of mind by knowing you're ready for anything that might come along. So, what if your car does break down, or your roof starts leaking, or you need a root canal? Well, a lot of people say to me, but I have a line of credit that I could draw against, or I have a credit card with a high limit on it, or I could dip into my retirement savings and cover those bills. Yes, that's true, but dipping into a line of credit, using credit cards, or even worse, starting a reverse mortgage on your home to cover an unexpected expense, that is going to cost you interest. And pulling funds out of your retirement account, depending on how you've got that structured, that could have some pretty severe tax consequences if it's an especially large bill. Better to be prepared for it without having to do any of those things. An emergency fund is not just savings. What is it? It's a buffer against the unexpected. It's time that you have to figure out how you're going to handle that expense. It's breathing room, and it's protection of your long term investments and financial plans. If you don't have an emergency fund, I'd have two pieces of advice for you. First, start small. I have counseled people regarding savings and emergency funds for decades. And what I often see is they get excited about the idea and then they try and start saving too much. What happens? They begin to realize this is a long term plan. It can take months, it can take years to build up the kind of emergency fund you'd like to have. They start saving too much, they realize it's still going to take an awful long time, and so they quit. The other thing is, if they start too large, they often start taking money that they need to pay regular monthly bills with, or maybe not monthly regular bills, but things like eating out, entertainment, and they realize it's just not worth it. And so again, they quit. Or something unexpected comes up, they use up that emergency fund, and then they think, now I got nothing to show for it, so I'm just going to quit. So start small. Start with $50 a month, $100 a month. If you've got any kind of a budget at all and have any kind of a handle on your cash flow, you know what you need to get through the month, you know what you need to have some fun in the month, and you know what you have left over. Don't save any more than that leftover amount. The next question is, where are you going to keep this money? It might be tempting to invest it in something, but that could again cause some tax problems if you have to withdraw it. I say keep it very liquid. Now, you don't want to mix it in with your regular checking account or your regular savings account if you can avoid it. Start a separate savings account and just know that amount is for an emergency. And remember, needing a new winter coat or taking a holiday, that's not an emergency. That's something that you should have planned for. An emergency fund is for an emergency. Now, I do know some people that, for various reasons, cannot have more than one bank account. And in that case, I would advise that you have what I would call a notional account. Go ahead, mix it in with your regular savings, but just keep track somewhere on a piece of paper in a notebook that this much is emergency. And make sure that your balance never goes below that emergency balance. Now, what I do, and I might do a separate video on this, is I have a series of GIC ladders. I have 6 months of my regular living expenses saved up as an emergency. And yes, it took me many years to get to that point. What I have done is I have put it into 6 different GICs, guaranteed investment certificates. I believe in the States you call them CDs, cash deposits, I believe it is. And I've got one maturing every month. So every month I have those funds coming in that would cover me for the next month. I've got those as redeemable GICs. So if I do have to dip into them before they mature, I can do that. But do what works for you. Just make sure you have an emergency fund and that you're keeping it separate and keeping track of it. Remember that financial freedom doesn't mean just having enough money. It means having control over the money that you do have so that you've got enough to pay your living expenses, enough to have some fun with, and enough on hand if the unexpected should come up. Thanks for joining me today. I'll see you next time. And until then, here's some more videos for you to check out.